that's just what the woman said. The look upon her face was mighty boy. Drop your chores and stay a while, she said calmly with a smile. Told her I was not that kind of boy. I was just a boy of teens, it was yesterday it seems. Walking down the street after a dance. By the corner stood a girl with her hair all up in curls. Her motion to me wasn't hard to grasp. Well, she had things I'd never seen, and Lord knows I was pretty green. She motioned me to follow her sweet path. She said, honey, come upstairs. I knelt and said my prayers. As I closed the door, here's what she said to me.
Come here, you sweet thing.
Drop your pants next to the bed, that's just what the woman said. The look upon her face was mighty coy. Drop your drawers and stay a while, she said calmly with a smile. Told her I was not that kind of boy. Well, I knew not what to do, so I just removed my shoes. After all, I didn't know her well. I was nervous as could be, but she smiled so patiently. The room was cool, but I was hot as hell. Drop your pants next to the bed, that's just what the woman said. The look upon her face was mighty coy. Drop your drawers and stay a while, she said calmly with a smile. Told her I was not that kind of boy. Morning lifted up my eyes, across my fingers gave a sigh. All at once came someone to the door. A voice pounded at the air, I know my daughter's in there, she said calmly as my bare feet hit the floor. Drop your pants next to the bed, that's just what the woman said. The look upon her face was mighty coy. Drop your drawers and stay a while, she said calmly with a smile. Told her I was not that kind of boy. Well, I told her I was not that kind of boy. Well, I told her I was not that kind of boy.
These are the days of thunder, we're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder, we're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking
There we be. It's getting to be that time. So I think we will go ahead and get this started. All right, welcome to WP Plugins Pulse from WP Plugins Unplugged. Yeah, sooner or later I'll get that one on. So let's get going.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
Welcome to episode 18 of Plugin Pulse WP Plugins A to Z Unplugged, where code is cheap, expertise is scarce, and lessons from this week in the plugin wars. WordPress, the king of content management systems, powering the web with over 80,000 plugins to choose from. How do you sort the junk from the gems? Welcome to WP Plugins A to Z, where we've been keeping the pulse of WordPress alive for over 16 incredible years. Join us every week for an unrehearsed, real talk breakdowns of the latest and greatest plugins, developer and community member interviews. Some weeks, Amber and I team up to dig in. Others, I'm flying solo, unpacking WordPress news, demoing a standout plugin, or sharing tips to power up your site. No scripts, no fluff, just the good stuff from A to Z. So plug in and let's get rolling. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlook in beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall. And yes, it's episode 18. Wow, I was way too fast on that one. It's episode 18 of Plugin Pulse, and this week we are diving into a couple of different things. In particular, we're unveiling my new theory about how the plugin environment or plugin ecosystem is evolving. And one of the things that looks like it's coming, the whole plugin economy is being reshaped right now. We'll be talking about that in just a couple minutes. We got a plugin review and a couple of other snippets of news this week. So first off, a couple of other quick things. Remember, you can join me live here on the show, and you can do that if you decide you want to, put your 2 cents into the event. And all you do is go to the WP Plugins A to Z.com/live, and then you can join me through Google Meet, where I set that up for anyone to come in and join me. And that link shows up in the show notes on Mondays, right about 5 minutes before the show airs and shuts down shortly after the show goes off. Other things, if you're listening to me on YouTube, remember, hit that like button, hit the bell, subscribe, get a reminder of when I'm here. I try to be here every Monday, and next Monday I've got an interview with Marcus Burdett, so keep that in mind. So it'll be very interesting for that interview. You can also, if you want, join me on Sundays over at Tavern Talk at the Rogues Oasis. All right, that's the little bits of it out of the way, and let's dive into what we are discussing this week. Now, what we've got going this week here is I've noticed a trend. I caught it a couple of weeks ago or a week or so ago. I don't remember when, but I caught it. But I have seen rumors of it. But Woosa, a WooCommerce plugin company, has flipped a traditional script on plugins. Now, they put a letter out to their community announcing that their drop shipping, their marketplace plugins are now free forever. No feature gates, no site limits, no upsells, just the plugin, full access for anyone who wants it. But what they're doing is they're now charging for their expertise on how to use the plugin. He goes through in the links in the show notes here. We've got a link to their letter here where they actually talk about. Give me that one right up here one more time, where they talk about doing this and how it's led to them booking people for calls and conferences, or I'm not sure, booking. I'm trying to read through here. I had it in my head and now it's gone. Anyway, booking the clients in to discuss what they need for their site. And it's led to a new revenue stream for them. And this is what is going to be coming down the pike. You can find more about this over here on X. The links are in the show notes for all of this. And what they've talked about, here it is. After a first full week, they had 40 unique downloads. They scheduled 3 calls, closed 2 new deals with a value of 480 euros and a $75 and a $75 monthly retainer fee. So this might be the way that it's evolving and what's happening with it. Now, I've got an article I started on this talking about this, and in particular, I've been around the WordPress community for quite some time, since version 2.7, 2.8, somewhere there, back before they introduced custom post types. And I've watched the evolution. I started the plugin podcast that I currently do over 16 years ago, and back then there was a mere 9,000 plugins in the WordPress repository. Now there's 60,000 plus. That's just in the WordPress repository. That doesn't include the hundreds of thousands that are available in multiple places on the internet now. So the plugin ecosystem has evolved into a major ecosystem for WordPress. Now, in the beginning, you got all these people. Most of them were college students learning how to code. They coded up a lot of cool plugins, useful plugins, and it was on the donation idea, the donation model. You know, here's a free code, here's a great plugin, buy me a coffee if it helps. Well, we know how that went. It was pure value for value, or more accurately, pure hope for value. In other words, you know, hope you pay me for the value I'm giving you. You know, a lot of people put out a lot of good, solid code. A lot of them went off to do careers in coding with corporations that could afford to pay for their talents. A few of them, though, they developed some really good plugins. And shortly after, when people realized that the donation for plugins model was never going to make anyone money, it barely buys them a cup of coffee, much less make a living off of it, the first premium plugins started appearing. Now, of course, the open source purity police screamed, hollered, lost their minds, licensing wars occurred, all kinds of stuff happened along the way that indicated that there were some complaints about it, and a lot of pettiness, forum fights. It was very entertaining. I covered some of this in my early shows over these wars. You'd have to go dig through the archives to find that stuff. But in the end, the market settled down. Now, what evolved quickly thereafter was people hit the point where someone's like, okay, you got a premium plugin. It looks like you have what I want, but do I risk the money and the possible fight to get a refund if I buy it and it doesn't work or do what I want? So a lot of developers created the freemium model. You know, a free plugin that had just enough gaps in the plugin's functionality for someone to decide that it worked and go, yep, I need that extra pro version bit to make it work. And the freemium model has pretty much the standard for the last 10 years. You know, there's still a few pure premium plugins out there, and they make a pretty good living if they've made a good enough product and they can get enough people on board for using it. Well, the problem with the freemium model is AI has punched a major hole in it, big enough to drive a semi into. And that hole has left it wide open for losses. You know, where, okay, well, I got your freemium plugin. Hey, you got almost what I need. Hey, you've got a premium version of what I need, this added functionality, but you got a bunch of stuff I don't want. Well, you know what? I can feed that into AI and say, hey, write me code that hooks into this plugin. Here's the free version, you know, to look at the code, and it'll write something to hook you right into it. And then you've got, boom, Bob's your uncle. You've got your premium piece you need. You don't need the whole premium plugin. So that's happening. I've seen lots of discussions about, over the last year, people's sales dropping in some areas. Some have gone up, but a lot of people have been talking about their sales have gone down. Some of them have started to branch out, such as Barn2 plugins. They've started to branch out into the Shopify network to gain another audience for selling it. They basically ported their WooCommerce plugins over to Shopify, and now they're making some extra money on Shopify. That'll probably help them out because Shopify is a closed walled garden. So they can't do anything there. They can't just AI their way out of a plugin for Shopify. Now, they might be able to AI their way into an add-on for Shopify. I don't know how the Shopify system works. But these are the things that are occurring in here. So what I've seen, and, you know, when we talked about WooSa, they just decided to stop fighting that tide, and they're decided to give away their code and charge for their expertise. And this is really where it's at. Code is free now. It's absolutely everywhere you want, especially for something open source like WordPress, where if you decided you wanted to pay for a 1-year license of a premium plugin, you can buy it and then go through and null it. You won't be able to keep, unless you are able to keep up with the updates and the changes and the security holes that are in just about everything. Everything has security holes now. We seem to have reached that point where everything has security holes, and that's unfortunate in our development today. But AI has also punched a hole in that problem too, where, you know, they're using AI to find security holes and attack everything. So this new system, and this is just the beginning of it, I believe. It hasn't yet hit mainstream, and many people are going to poo-pot, and they're going to say all kinds of things to that it's not going to get off the ground, but I think it will. It's kind of like when I suggested over a year and a half ago that the LMS text file will get off the ground, and everyone's still poop-pot it. The last couple of months I've seen it start to get off the ground. It takes a while for new ideas to mature and for people to accept them. It's always been that way whenever a new idea comes along. This one will too. Now, the WooSa is trying to float a collective, an invitation for agencies or other plugin makers and specialists to take a profit share in exchange for helping grow the ecosystem. Now, I haven't dove into this particular aspect of it yet, but this is going to be something interesting to watch as it evolves over the next couple of years. I mean, the plugin ecosystem for WordPress is changing. We can't stop it, folks. It's becoming something different. AI has changed the game for everybody. And someone like me who can understand code, read code, I can write it very slowly at a horribly slow pace to where it's not feasible for me to write a plugin. AI changed all that for me. All of a sudden, I can pump out, well, I think I pumped out last year, I pumped out 30 plugins. You know, most of them for my own use, and most of them for projects I was working on where I would have been hunting for a premium version to supply that. I was like, no, I've got the idea. I can write it. The AI can write the code for me really fast, and I can review that code to make sure it's good. And that is the way that it is being used. Now, this is an emerging pattern, and after 16 years of watching the WordPress plugin ecosystem through this show, I believe this pattern is going to evolve into the next way that people get paid for their knowledge and their skills. They're not going to get paid so much for writing the code, but they're going to get paid for managing that code and showing people how to get the most of it on their website. Because it's one thing to go buy one of these premium plugins for WooCommerce and then stuff it on your site. But if you don't have the skills to get the most of it, you've just wasted your time and money. And that is one of the big things that's happening. So now they can just get the free code, see if they can figure it out. If they can't, they can go hire the people who created it to come in and fix it and make it do exactly what they want. So that's where we're going. And that is my thoughts on where the WordPress ecosystem is rolling into now. All right, let's wander into next item I've got here is WP rankings, the actual install growth charts. Well, if you need those growth charts, WordPress removed the active install growth charts from plugin pages, citing insufficient data obfuscation or whatever reason. They just probably didn't want people to know for whatever. But developers come along and wrote a new one. Now, I picked up on this information, and of course, I got it from Reddit. And I guess Imaginary Time is the username. I don't know who's behind that. But they wrote a system, and they're ranking it. Now, they're charging for access to all the data. But you can get some snippet data if you just want to go check it out. If you want to buy access to their site, you can start getting information about what's happening, what plugins are rising. Here's ones here. Pixel Vault rising by 34,000. And it shows you what people are doing. Who is the top, all plugins, the top installs. So Elementor, Yoast, and Contact Form 7 have got 10 plus million. And then let's see what happens when we hit the full rankings. Let's see what we got. Oh, there we go. Let's scroll way down here till we get down to there 900,000. So only, let's go 1 million. Only 67 plugins have more than 1 million installs. Everything else has got less than that. But a few 100,000 is nothing to sneeze at, especially if you manage to sell a percentage of the premiums. Now, this is one thing that I didn't touch on there. The problem with the freemium version is you only have about a 10 to 20% conversion rate from freemium to premium, even in the best of times. Most people don't see even that high of a conversion rate. But all you'd need is a few 100,000. Oh, go away. Look like spam call. So at any rate, if you need this data for your plugin that's going through the WordPress ecosystem, the WordPress repo, this is a great place to get it. It's a practical tool for plugin makers to find out what sort of plugins are ranking really well, to see if you're building. It might also be a good one to go check if, hey, I got this great idea for a plugin. Go check here and say, hey, wait, somebody else has already got one that's really top tiered in this category. Do I want to compete against them? Can I compete against them? And that's something to think about too, is can you compete against them? So this is some really great data and very useful to help you out along the way and help you figure out what you want and what's going on for everything in there. Okay, let's see. All right, I do have a plugin to talk about and review and give a brief review on. Now, I personally didn't use this, and the developer, I probably found this plugin originally on Reddit. No, he submitted it to us, and he must have found me through Reddit because he submitted me a chat request in Reddit saying, hey, I submitted this plugin. Has it been reviewed yet? And initially I just went, it's in the queue. I don't know. I honestly don't know. We get a lot of plugin submissions. They go into the queue and they wait there until we get to them because free is free, folks. I only have so much time available to give away my time. So I give away what I can when I can. And this show each week, even with as simple as it is at this time, it still takes me a lot of time to prep up. So anyway, the plugin we've got today is called Descriptor. And Amber actually reviewed this plugin back on episode, we don't have the episode number here. Episode 667, there we go. This plugin was reviewed here. Amber did a really big deep dive into it. You can go get all the show notes about it. I'm going to scroll down until we find the show notes. Come on, where'd it go? There it is. Descriptor. Here we go. Descriptor. Now, you get the plugin over on WordPress.org at the WordPress repo. And it's a community and user profile plugin. It makes it really easy to create beautiful user profiles on the front end and makes it easy for you to create websites where users can have front end profiles. Now, I don't know how this one works. I haven't dove into it, but Amber did a really great job of breaking it down. And It allows you to check off boxes when you get a notification. The profile allows you to set up membership stuff on it. Use new user default status between approved, awaiting review, rejected, awaiting confirmation, etc. So there's a lot into this plugin. It allows for front-end user profiling, front-end account page, allows you to create capabilities, allows you to grant users having specific roles, allows you to restrict content on user profiles using user roles, allows you to choose fields that are shown on user profiles, allows you to activate or deactivate users, email notifications, users can send messages to each other, users can block. It sounds like it's great for building a community web page or a community website. Might be great for clubs and organizations where they want to talk to each other. So at any rate, really quite thorough job Amber did of reviewing this plugin. You want the full review? Go check out show 667 and get the full review. And of course, she gave it a 5 dragon rating, so I will do exactly the same. Give it a 5 dragon rating. There we go. So hopefully the author of that comes and checks this out and hears all about it. And if you do, reach out to us and tell people out there about WP plugins A to Z. Get out there and plug them in. Tell them about the show. Sometimes we have boring stuff. Sometimes we have useful stuff. Well, that makes a beautiful segue into this is a value for value show, meaning this show operates on time, talent, and treasure. In other words, if you get any value out of it, please give some value back. And that value can come in the form of time by getting out there and telling people about the show, showcasing it, sharing it, and, committing some time to help us out. And that ties in with the talent part of it. You can go create artwork for the show. We accept AI art, which pretty much everyone does now. In fact, all my art is AI generated now. And for that artwork, you can simply go to the donate your artwork, scroll down, submit your artwork, give it a title, give it a nice long description. If you do it right, you might even be able to sneak a link into the site. And, WP Plugins is a pretty high authority site, so it's pretty decent. Upload an image, upload a video, a little short one, 6 megs, about 15 seconds maximum. Submit the artwork. Once we review it and approve it, it will appear here in the gallery. And then when people click through the gallery to go check out the artwork, they can see the full piece of artwork and its beautiful scale. And then they can also go check out the video you created for the artwork at the same time. And then you get your art story with, if you sneak in links, it's a good thing. So that's a way to provide time and talent at the same time. Those are the only places we have for time and talent right now is artwork and telling people about the show. Now, the final one is, of course, treasure. We can always use some treasure. If this show is of value to you, saves you $5, earns you $1,000 by learning about some secret tidbit, some code snippet we shared, who knows? We share all kinds of stuff here. If you feel like it, return some of that value back. Just go to the donation page. Donations are done through PayPal. Enter your favorite amount, anywhere from $1 to $1 million. I'll take $1 million. And leave us a note. I will be sure to read it out at this point in the show and submit that donation through PayPal. We would greatly appreciate it. So that's how you can support this show, through time, talent, or treasure. Now, if you also want something a little different, go check out Tavern Talk at the Oasis. It's another podcast I do. It's kind of not perfectly in sync for a weekly show yet, but this is a personal pet project. And it's like going back into the old taverns and sitting down and chatting with people. Currently, I'm doing research on the entire book of Revelations, and the next show will be on book 5. Just about getting to the really good stuff there. All right. That's really all we've got for that component of the show. Oh, while we're here, for those of you that are listening to the show, hit that like button, hit the bell button, and, tell people about us. So if you're listening to us on YouTube right now, hit that like button. Give us some likes. That really helps us in the algos. At least that's what I'm told. I really don't know. All right. Now we have one more component left today. before we go into the closing stuff. And that is, I brought this a few weeks ago on the regular show with Amber, but I'm going to bring it again because I keep playing it from time to time just to see if I can build and play with it. It's called Pressword, and it is the game for if you're building plugins. It's a really fun game. It's loads of fun. And on the leaderboard, I think I'm still... Oh, no, I beat myself. The Rogues Oasis beat out me. I'm sitting at number 4. I got to go in there and play it some more and clock it up there. It turns out I helped find the bug because I had created such a massive empire in this game that I wasn't getting counted on my scores. My scores were not getting added in there. I sent to the developer, say, hey, this is happening, and he sent me back a nice note that says, hey, you actually found a bug. And it explained what was happening. So, hey, thank you very much. And it's just something fun. You can end up wasting a fair amount of time in this game by watching yourself try to write code and ship plugins and keep up with the updates and everything else in it. I haven't played it for several days or a week now because once I start it, I kind of get lost in it. It's one of those click, click, click games that is semi-addictive. So go check it out. It's called Install Clicker. That's what it's called, the Install Clicker game. So go check that out. Just lots of fun for those of you that want something to kill time on when you should be doing actual work. Nobody ever does that, though. Never. All right. That pretty much covers up everything for this show. I didn't have a whole ton for this show. It's been rather busy for me in multiple ways in the last few weeks. It's the middle of summer. Things get in the way. Life gets in the way in the summertime. It's kind of like life gets in the way around Christmas time. Seems twice a year, right around late June, early July, a lot goes on, and then late December, early January, a lot goes on. So I don't know. Seems to be twice a year. So, at any rate, just to let everyone know, we do have an interview coming up next week. He has confirmed, so I will be interviewing Marcus Burnett on July 27th at noon here, live on YouTube, and it will go out into the podcast feeds for those listening to the downloads shortly thereafter, and you get to enjoy it. It should be a very interesting interview. He's, from what I've researched so far, he's got a lot of interesting stuff going on, so we'll try and ask some pertinent questions. If anyone has any pertinent questions, send them to me. I'll try and sneak them in. All right, we do have 2 interview dates in the next 2 months. We're toning down the interviews for the rest of the summer, maybe into the fall. So we'll see what happens with it. Right now, we have August 24th available and September 21st available to book for an interview. To do that, just simply go to the website for book an interview, fill out the form, choose your calendar date, and boom, you're all set. All right, and that would be everything we've got. I've got a couple more show notes in here for shows and other places you can get information. Go check out those links. That's pretty much all I've got. I'm going to let our girl take us on out of here, and I'll be back after that for some show-ending music just because it's good to listen to. So let our girl take us on out.
Reminders for the show. All the show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by you, the developers, because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show through your favorite podcast app. You can also watch the show live on YouTube at WP Plugins A to Z, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. You can also follow the show on X at WP Plugins A to Z. John can be reached directly through the website wpproatoz.com or email him at john@wppro.ca. Amber can also be contacted through the website at wpproatoz.com or email her directly Amber at wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
All right, time for a little music.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the jigger, just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine? Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
Alrighty, folks, that's all we got. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no. Obviously we just lost the satellite feed.